It is hour number 2 of the program, and in this hour, we are promising you, of course, a little Manny Navarro. We're going to talk to Manny Navarro in just a second with our Canes Wear Miami Hurricanes report, as always. And we've got him every single week here. We thank Brett and all the great people at Caneswear for making it nice and easy for us to broadcast, as always. Hey, once a month you can catch us over there at Caneswear too, broadcasting live, which is a beautiful thing, as always. So make sure you come on out and join us over at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, as we broadcast all the time. And we're also broadcasting. We were at the Big Cheese yesterday, another spot.
That was so awesome.
Yeah, we'll be back there the 22nd, Tuesday the 22nd, in a couple of weeks. Maybe we can coerce Manny to come on over.
Manny better be there next that Tuesday, the 22nd.
The 22nd, it's a Tuesday, Manny. Big Cheese. What do you think? You're going to be there for some free lunch or what?
I think I can pull it off, man. I think I can get over there.
Okay, all right. I don't know about twisting your arm to go to the Big Cheese. You know what I'm saying? It's a beautiful
you don't have
thing.
to twist my arm, brother.
Oh, no,
you don't
definitely.
have to twist my arm at all.
Definitely. And that's an afternoon broadcast because they wanted like 2:30 to 4:30. So that kind of really leaves it open for you, right? Because your work is kind of done by then, right?
Hopefully, yeah. I mean, unless we get more news like today where we're trying to figure out who's going to be the starting quarterback on Friday.
But wait a minute. I thought for sure Jaron Williams was his guy and all that. Dude, Manny's turning into this guy that tells you one thing and does something else. This is disturbing, actually. So what's the latest now?
Well, decided to put out a little bit of a statement saying that essentially Jaron Williams was limited in practice today with an upper extremity injury. You know, we're going back to the Randy Shannon days. We're saying upper extremity, lower extremities. So with an upper extremity injury, I heard last night that basically, and I think we all saw this if we watched the Central Michigan game, he took a huge hit from the backside on those back-to-back Zion Nelson sacks, landed on his shoulder, hurt his shoulder. He's been dealing with shoulder soreness since then. Miami knew that going into the Virginia Tech game, thought he could fight through it. He warmed up. Hey, I'm okay. Clearly he wasn't. And so N'Kosi Perry ended up having to come in and lead the offense. But, Manny, I think it's hopeful that Jaron will get back at some point this week. But it's pretty clear that the kid's dealing with shoulder soreness, and we'll have to see what his condition is by Friday. He didn't really practice much today. He was off to the side during the media viewing portion, and I think the fact that UM actually came out and said he was limited speaks volumes because they don't give you a whole lot of information when it comes to injuries.
All right, let me do the math here. It's Tuesday. He didn't practice. They play Friday. You don't do anything on Thursday. So tomorrow, if he doesn't go for a full practice, there's no way you're playing him anyway at this point, because that would make no sense now. Hell, if he didn't practice today and you're going up against Virginia, which is a much better opponent than what you played last week, you're also going to play him only on one day of practice. That would be kind of weird with the game plan. So to me, this kind of reads that N'Kosi's your guy pretty much guaranteed on Friday.
Well, that and Tate Martell's, taking snaps at quarterback again, where he's been nothing but receiver for the last month or so since he lost out on the quarterback competition. So to me, it's clear they're preparing N'Kosi and Tate for this game. But I will say, you can never say with 100% certainty around here, because I'm sure Jaron Williams has been in all the meetings. He's probably seen all the film, done everything that he has to do to prepare like he's going to play this week. But Manny, listen, it's a good ploy. Every coach in football does this, right? When they got an injured quarterback. Well, we don't know who's going to start, or this is going to be the guy who's a starter. And the other team, they read the clips too, right? Virginia's reading, hey, this guy didn't practice today, so we better prepare for N'Kosi. So the coaches always believe that the more these guys prepare for it, the harder their job is going to be. The reality is, we all know this is what they do anyway, right? That's why they have film departments and scouting departments, and so they're going to prepare for everything anyway. But it's a silly game. I wish Manny would come out and just say, hey, Jaron's dealing with shoulder soreness. He's probably not going to play on Friday. We're going to have to go N'Kosi. But this is what football's all about. These little games.
Has he elaborated any more on what he plans to do, being a part of the more of the defensive schemes or the play calls?
my understanding of the whole issue here, and I, I've talked to different people behind the scenes about this. I think Manny, the issue they're having right now, I think, is some of the older players on this roster, particularly at the linebacker position that are supposed to be Manny's guys, are maybe not listening to Blake Baker the way that they need to, and playing, kind of their own style, to their own beat of their own drum, right? They got the NFL they're thinking about their own things. And Manny sees that as a huge issue, and he had to step in and basically come back and take control and say, hey, we can't have this freelancing stuff that's going on. We need you guys to be team players and take accountability when you screw up. And so that's the issue. That's why Manny's back. I don't know that he's necessarily going to call plays on Friday. I know everybody automatically thinks, hey, he's taking control. That means he's calling the plays. I don't think Manny is upset with Blake Baker's play calling. I think his issue is, it's a bigger issue, as I wrote in my story today. The issue is his guys, the guys he's groomed for the last 3 years, are not listening to the coach that he groomed when he was at Louisiana Tech and his mentor. So it's the issues run deeper in my book here, the way I look at this picture.
Did Manny talk to Udonis Haslem about that role?
He did not talk to Udonis Haslem about that role. It'd be great if he had somebody in there to come there and be the quote-unquote enforcer. But I think Manny, essentially what he announced yesterday, and look, part of this is PR. Let's not gloss over the fact that Manny didn't have to come out and say any of that stuff yesterday, did he? Right?
No.
It could have been an internal thing that he kept in-house. Why does he come out and say that?
Because he wants to send a message. That's why.
He wants to send a message not only to his players, which he did on Sunday without telling us anything. The reason he puts it in the media, is because they're 2-3, and he needs to make it look like he's doing something big to make people happy. He's feeling the heat. There are people who are not happy with where this program is at, and I think Manny wants to show people, hey, I'm not just standing on my hands here. I'm going to get myself involved. And so part of that was a publicity move on his part to say, hey, I'm not just letting these guys get off the hook, which is great. But at the same time, it's kind of like trying to, what every coach does, man, in sports, they try to control the narrative, right?
Right. Yeah.
We can't sit here and just rip them for, hey,
no, you're right.
Why are your linebackers not listening to your defensive coordinator? Why are your senior players that aren't supposed to be a problem? Why are they becoming a problem for the guys that are your guys, your coaches, the guys that you handpicked, not these offensive guys that Dan Enos brought in? So you get out in front of the story and you spin it in your way, and so I think that's everything that we heard yesterday. Manny's trying to control the narrative, and again, as I wrote for the Athletic today, to me, the issues run deep, and this team, they're kind of at a breaking point, man. This Friday, if they come out and they lay an egg and they look really, really bad, I think this thing can go on off the wheels.
Does he also realize that this makes him look bad because it's his hire, it's the guy he put in place, and then if you publicly got to reprimand him because you've got to be a part of this, and if your players aren't listening to him, that also falls on him. All of this falls on him. I don't know if he realizes that.
Right. No, it furthers the mess, and I think the way he calculated it was, hey, I'm going to show the Miami fan base that I'm taking action, I'm getting involved, which is great. But as you said, there's smart enough people that are paying attention that can read between the lines. And again, what does it say that the guy you hired is having issues with the players you groomed? That's not a good look.
Has Blake James said anything? Because I'm wondering how that conversation has gone. I don't know if he's talked publicly with anybody or give you guys any quotes today or anything like that, but I would imagine that Blake and Manny have had some kind of a conversation in the last 48 hours about what's gone on.
I would hope so. I would hope there'd be conversations between the athletic director and the head coach. But, watching talking to Blake last year throughout all of this with Mark Richt when they were struggling and having a few conversations with him, he's more of a, hey, I'll talk to the guy during the season, but all the important decisions are made at the end of the season, not in the middle of it. So that's the way Blake James' mind works. So I don't know how much he's feeling. I imagine it's a lot. He didn't conduct a coaching search. He just basically saw Manny Diaz and said, hey, we want you to be the guy, right? And so I know there's people around this program that aren't happy that there was no coaching search, and it just became sort of this quick leap from Mark to Manny. But, I don't know. I would tend to think that he has to be involved in some way. I mean, I know he was at the press conference on Saturday watching, sitting behind us there in the media like he usually does, observing. And, but he hasn't spoken to any of us, at least not publicly. And he hasn't spoken to me. So I don't know what Blake James is thinking. I know this. I know there's a lot of unhappy Miami Hurricanes fans right
now. You talk about the change. Well, not me, but not you. I mean, Manny Diaz talked about not just him being a part more of the defensive scheme or calls or whatever it is, or being Udonis Haslem, whatever he's doing. What are the changes on defense? Have you heard anything? Because that was the other thing he insinuated that could be happening. And because some of his guys aren't responding, is some of his guys are the ones getting benched here.
Well, that we'll find out on Friday. I mean, he's not going to come out and tell us. I mean, other than what he said yesterday of playing time and those type of things we dealt with. But it's one thing to talk tough in the media; it's another thing to actually do it in the game. And let's not forget. I mean, you're trying to redshirt Zach McLeod now, right? You want to bring him back next year. So I would tend to think that they're going to continue to lean that way. And besides that, you've got a bunch of freshmen and young guys that haven't played a whole lot of that position. So you need the Michael Pinckneys and Shaq Quartermans, Romeo Finleys, and all the seniors and all the guys on the team to play and play the way you want them to play. So, look, I'll applaud Manny for making the move and saying, hey, I'm not going to let this defense continue to slip. They've blown 2 fourth-quarter leads in losses to Florida, North Carolina, and essentially blew the game the other night with that long drive that they allowed Virginia Tech to score. So, I applaud him for making that move, but, he's got to get it right. He's got to get it fixed quickly.
How was the mood of the players today?
Like usual, man. I mean, they come off the field from practice, and it was a good practice, and we're working hard, and we're focused, and yada, yada, yada. But, I think the reality is, this is college football today, man. Like, everybody's in it for themselves, right? Everybody looks at it from, well, how's this going to help my career? How is this going to help my NFL prospects? When you start losing games, and you're 2-3, and you're 0-2 in the ACC, and the season's getting away from you, it naturally becomes a selfish sport for a lot of these guys. So, they can come out and say what they want to say to us in the media, but I've been doing this too long to know better. Oh, and you've been doing this too long to know better. It can be lip service. And, I think a lot of what you hear from the players now is lip service. I think this season is essentially coming down to N'Kosi Perry and how much he has matured and how much he's improved under Dan Enos. Because I think it was pretty obvious on Saturday that this offense is a whole lot better equipped to run under N'Kosi because he can throw the deep ball and he can keep defenses on the edge. And Bud Foster talked about that after the game. He essentially said, we knew Jaron Williams, we could get our hands on his passes because, he cut his cornerbacks loose, basically played man free and said, go after the ball. And when N'Kosi came in, who's got a much stronger arm, and is a little bit more elusive back there, Virginia Tech was susceptible, and they gave up some plays. And so, question now is, N'Kosi Perry put an entire game together and not just a couple of drives, and can he avoid the turnovers? We saw some mental farts, so to speak, on Saturday, right? You saw the play where he went to hand the ball off and nobody was in the backfield. Like, what is he doing? And then he had the other pass where literally there was not a Hurricane within 10 yards, and basically hit a Virginia Tech cornerback right in the chest. The guy dropped the ball. I mean, can N'Kosi Perry put it together enough for this team to win? I think certainly he makes the offense better. He makes Jeff Thomas better. He helps stretch the field for Brevin Jordan. So, we'll see Friday. I think right now, I mean, I can't come out and say for sure Jaron Williams is not going to play Friday. I think if he's healthy, I think that would be Manny's preference to start at quarterback. But I think the reality is N'Kosi Perry will probably start Friday, and the season will come down to whether or not he can lift this offense on his shoulders.
I got no doubt that N'Kosi is going to start. You telling me that he's limited, the other guy's limited today, and he's dealing with an injury. That kind of sets it up. But here's the whole caveat to this whole thing. Okay, N'Kosi Perry, I don't expect him to be accurate. From what I saw last year, I think that's what he is. But I could be wrong, and I've been wrong a million times, and maybe I'll be wrong again on Friday. But if that kid goes out there and has a really good game again, I don't think Jarren Williams gets his job back, because as a coach, how do you look at that locker room and say, yeah, no, we're going to put back in the guy that might be struggling right now, is not really a difference maker, and we're going to put on the bench the guy that has been making a difference for us the last 2 weeks. So this is a huge start for Nkosi, right? Correct? I mean, if he kicks ass, there's a good chance he can actually keep the job.
You would think so, but yet so much of the narrative for Manny Diaz was, we want to find our guy, and we want our guy to be the guy. And he sort of built this whole thing of Jarren is our guy, right? After everything that sort of went through in the preseason, and then even now after this last game, after they lost and he threw 3 picks, and it was still he's our guy. And so I don't know. I mean, personally, I just don't think Manny Diaz has any faith in Nkosi Perry. I think he looks at him as a guy who was part of the problem last year with this offense. And we all know what Nkosi's issues were last year with maturity and the video and the cash thing, everything that he put out there that he got himself in trouble for. And so I don't know that Manny Diaz deep down inside trusts him enough to be the starting quarterback here. And I think that's part of the reason why Jarren won the job. Can that change? Can Nkosi Perry win this team over and prove to be the better quarterback? Certainly, I think the opportunity is there. But I think right now he's got to prove to his head coach that he's not the guy who's going to revert to making some of the same foolish mistakes that he made a year ago.
Manny, did you sense any urgency from the players? Because you told me they were kind of like, pretty good today, the mood-wise, which they should have been cranky as hell. And then again, maybe not, because a couple weeks ago, isn't it Brevin Jordan that was coming in? They were really happy about the Central Michigan win, which if I was a coach and coaching staff, I would have made those kids feel like they lost by 100 points that week against Central Michigan. I seriously, like those stories you hear of Shula, that the guys are sitting in the meeting room and it's like, hey, didn't we win by 15 this week? And Shula's pointing out like 30 things they did wrong. And they're like looking at each other like, wow, this guy's ripping us an ass. And we won this week. That's what you should have done. So you tell me, was there a sense of urgency from these guys that this stuff needs to end?
It's really hard for me to tell, man.
Wow.
Being completely and totally honest with you, at the end of that game, I was on the sideline for the last 5 minutes of that game, standing next to Manny Diaz's father. I walked off the field, saw the players walking off the field, headed back to the locker room. I saw one guy who was sort of emotionally torn and beat up about the loss. One guy who was really, you could tell, it stung him. It was DJ Dallas. The rest of those guys, been there, done that. I mean, let's not forget, this team is 4-12 in their last 16 games against Power 5 schools.
Wow.
4-12.
Wow.
That's a fact.
That's a disturbing stat, dude. That's Jim Harbaugh Michigan-like stats.
Even worse. So again, since that 10-0 start to 2017, that's what the record is in Power 5 games. They basically beat up on a bunch of puppies to even be close to 500 right now. So again, you're asking me, are these guys fired up? I don't believe any of that stuff anymore. The same way I don't believe recruits when they say that they're committed and they're coming. And it's kind of like you do this long enough, you don't buy the BS anymore. Well, that's why I'm at. And to me, don't talk about it. Show me. Show me on game day. Show me that you really care about winning. And I think this team has gotten used to losing over the last few years, and it doesn't look like it's uncomfortable for them.
That's the kind of stuff that I know that, the Michael Irvings of the world and the Randall Hills and those kind of cats would have been just, launching F-bombs and getting in people's faces and it just they would have policed themselves back in the day and all that. I mean, Manny that loves to talk about the past, and I'm talking about Diaz, not Navarro here, but Manny Diaz that loves to talk about the past and how the Canes were and how they well, it doesn't sound to me like you're breeding those kind of players, because I kind of would like a really pissed off and grouchy group right now. I'd rather you be like, damn, these guys are being absolute, jerks with us. And you know what? I'd like that. I don't mind that a guy wears his emotions on his sleeve. I kind of enjoy that.
I would too. Oh, and you know, I can tell you the honest to God truth. This program is just not showing me any signs right now that anything's going to change. You know, I think Manny's heart is in the right place. I think Manny wants things to go in the right position. He's doing the right things, bringing back former players. He's taking over the defense again. He sees the problem. He says, I'm going to throw myself at it. I don't fault him for his actions. I just don't know if ultimately he's enough to fix all of the issues here and if he's getting enough support, you know, financially and hiring coordinators and position coaches and everything else. You know, as I had a conversation with someone the other day, and I actually talked about this on my podcast this week. You know, this program, whether they win or lose, they're still getting a fat paycheck from the ACCO. I mean, they're still getting their money here, right? There's all these new buildings here. Where's the incentive to win big, and where are the people carrying that torch? I don't hear them. I don't see them. So, again, I think the passion of the fan base, the passion of the former players, it's never wavered. They want to see this program win big. They want to, you know, they eat, bleed, and sweat and eat this stuff, right? Games football means everything to them. But I don't get the sense that everybody who's here carrying out the mission is you know, feels it the same way that they do.
And it is the Wide Right podcast, by the way. Follow it on Twitter also at Wide Right Pod. Make sure you subscribe to it and listen to it, because obviously Manny does an amazing job, just like you can catch him here with our Canes Wear Miami Hurricanes report every single week here on the program. All right, Manny, so if that urgency's not there, just out of curiosity, how much freedom do these players have to be themselves, to express themselves the way Canes players have in the past? Is that something that Manny encourages?
I mean, look, they still got the turnover chain. They still have the touchdown ring. They still have all the you know.
That's kind of controlled. That's controlled. That's for a moment that happens that you earned at that moment. Which, by the way, those two things should be suspended until better play. But whatever. Anyway, no, but like outside of that is what I'm saying. You know what I mean? That's what I want to know, because I don't see it. That's why I say that.
I don't know. I just the players are different, man. Like, you don't have. To me, there aren't many guys here who wear their emotions on their sleeve. Like, I can count on one hand the amount of guys that I see and I look at and I say, these guys could be old school Canes, you know, that play with that same passion and desire. It's a different kid today. It's a different kid today that's here than the ones that were here during the glory days. You know, I mean, I think DJ Dallas is a throwback Cane. I think Brevin Jordan is a throwback Cane. I think Nessa Silvera is a throwback Cane. But I don't know how many other guys like that I see that have that same sort of intensity, that, you know, just from reading them and their personality and seeing the way they carry themselves.
Manny Navarro from The Athletic joins us here. We'll wrap it up with this, and follow him on Twitter at Manny_Navarro. This is something that I think happens in the pro game. You tell me if it's something that could be trickling down also here, because you're all over this. But I remember when Joe Philbin was hired, and I'm asking my people around the league, and they're like, well, look, man, he's been in one team his entire time. They're not going to let him take any coaches. He's an unknown. It's going to be very hard for Philbin to get a really good staff there to survive in Miami. And sure enough, that was the problem. He had terrible assistant coaches. When you're young and you're new and you're untested and all of that, it's hard to get assistant coaches. Is that the same thing in college football, or does the money cover all of that? And how would you grade that assistant coaching staff that's around Manny, and does he need to do much better, or can he?
That's a loaded question. Here's what I would say. That's a loaded question. Here's what I would say. Okay, let me start off by speaking in facts here. First of all, Manny Diaz has never been a head coach until Temple gave him the job, right?
Yep.
So, you know, and I know that all the best assistant coaches, the guys that aren't head coaches, want to go work for the best head coaches. So, right off the bat, you look at all the best guys, right? The Urban Meyers of the world. You look at the Nick Saban's, and right. You go all around college football and you say, okay, who does that guy have on staff? Well, you can guarantee that whoever he has on staff is better than whatever these guys are going to have on staff for any first-year coach, because nobody starts off with the best assistant coach. It just doesn't happen that way.
No,
you have to kind of build a reputation.
The guy that's coaching in Georgia came from Alabama. The guy that's coaching in Oregon came from Alabama.
Right.
I mean, it's just
right.
That's in fact, didn't the guy from Texas A&M also come from Alabama?
He might have. I'm not
Wasn't
sure
Jimbo
anymore.
at one time under Saban? I thought he was, but go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Texas A&M. Well, no, Jimbo was at Florida State with Bobby, underneath Bobby.
That's
but
right. He was Bobby. That's right. Yes. It was the other guy that I was thinking of that went to Florida that was under Bobby that was here with the Dolphins too. I forgot. But go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. I think people need to understand that, when you hire a first-time head coach, which Manny was essentially, because he didn't coach at Temple. He was there for 2 weeks.
4-1 Temple, by the way. 4-1 Temple. All right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Right.
I'm sorry.
What you do is you throw money, right? You say, hey, I'm going to go hire an expensive coordinator, which is what Blake James did. They went to Alabama. They heard Dan Enos wasn't going to be the offensive coordinator at Alabama. He's a smart guy, successful in the Saban. He coached at Arkansas, coached at Central Michigan as a head coach. Right? He's an established guy. And so what they did was, all right, we'll give this guy $1.5 million or whatever, and we'll bring him in to be the coordinator. Well, Manny says, well, I'm going to bring in my boys. Well, who are Manny's boys? Manny's boys are guys that he coached with at Louisiana Tech, guys that he coached with, Mississippi State, guys that are lower on the totem pole, and so half the staff is Manny's guys, right? And again, Manny's the first-time head coach. It's not like he's got a bunch of guys that are well established on his side of the ball in defense. And then Enos, where does he pull from? He pulls from where he was at before. Oh, let's go get the Central Michigan offensive line coach. Been the assistant to the offensive line coach at Tampa Bay for the past few years. Oh, let's go get Stubblefield, who's been at 12 different schools the last 13 years or whatever it is. So that's what this staff is. It's guys that are journeymen that aren't high profile. This is not Jimmy Johnson with Dave Wannstedt and a bunch of guys underneath. It's not what that is. So, you have what you have. And again, look back at the last 16 years in the ACC. Okay, who's been the most successful coach at Miami in the 16 years that they've been here? Mark Richt, right?
Yes.
10-0 to start the season.
Yeah, pretty much.
What did Mark Richt have that none of those other guys did?
Well, he had Manny Diaz.
He had previous head coaching experience, and he had a coaching tree. And when he came here, he brought his coaching tree with him. And guys that had been with him at Georgia, at a respectable SEC program.
That's right.
And he had a name, and he was able to bring Manny Diaz over. So that's how all this stuff is made. It's like, how do you make the cookies? This is how you make the cookies when you're a coach. I hope I created a better, clearer picture for you. I don't know if I was clear enough.
Oh yeah, you're basically telling me he's Joe Philbin and Adam Gase, a combination of he doesn't have the connections to get the right people around him, and that money does not solve that issue that quickly in college football like you would think it would. In other words, is what you're telling me, basically. That
Absolutely.
It's going to take money and reputation in order to get over the top.
Right, and I don't know how much Manny's really formulated a reputation where, hey, everybody in the country wants to come coach for him.
Right.
Because, look, I mean, the bottom line is, where did he really have success here? Right? I mean, he had some at Mississippi State for a year. He had some, here certainly. And where else was he at? Louisiana Tech. They were okay, but I mean, it's not. He's a new guy. He's a young guy. He's 46, whatever it is. I don't even know how old he is anymore. But he's a young guy, younger than 50, who was working at ESPN and worked his way up the tree. It's a story of from rags to riches. And right now, he hasn't gotten to the riches yet. He just got his first head coaching job here, and he's off to a good start. So you tell me which coaches out there are looking at the situation saying, yep, I'm going to go to Miami. I'm going to help turn this thing around.
That's interesting and disturbing in all different ways, shapes, and form. And then the other thing from this conversation, since you're around it all the time, and I trust you, the fact that you don't really see a light at the end of the tunnel. That's the part that kind of has me a little bummed out because I was very hopeful for this. Now, I'm not giving up on the guy. I'm hoping that he still can turn this around, but it just you would like a little more hope in this situation. You know what I mean, Manny?
I want to give you some more, and believe me, look, when I looked at this season, I thought Danny Enos was going to come in and immediately make a positive impact, which he did. He made the quarterbacks instantly better, right? You can't really fault the quarterback play. Knowing now what we know about Jaron's shoulder and, you know, the 3 picks and all that kind of stuff, like, it's kind of understood now. I thought Enos has done a good job. What's been surprising is the defensive fall-off. Like, why are those guys, you know, again, not listening to Blake Baker? Why is there an issue? You know, and I thought the schedule was certainly weak enough that even if they lost to Florida in the opener, because we knew they would be the underdog to Florida, I mean, who counts on them losing at North Carolina with a true freshman quarterback? Who counts on them losing to a bad Virginia Tech team? And by the way, it's been close. Like, they haven't been really blown out by anybody. So you can't exactly look at it either. If I'm offering hope, it's not that bad in terms of how much they're losing by. But again, how do you get over the 2-3 start? How do you keep this team together? And that's why this week, you know, hearing the whole thing about the linebackers and the guys not listening to Blake Baker, that's why I think it's disturbing, because to me it seems like, okay, it's not just that the offensive line is young and they got a bunch of guys out there that are struggling, or hey, it's not just you know, maturity issues and guys need to go up and young guys and this and that. It's the older guys too, right? That's the disturbing part for me, because those are Manny's guys.
Yeah, those are Manny's guys. Yeah.
So I wish I could put a brighter picture for you. I will say this: I think the schedule is certainly still winnable. I don't think any team on their schedule the rest of this way is more talented than them, and I think.
Yeah,
Perry,
but that hasn't been good enough. Just because
right,
Miami has more talent, it means nothing whatsoever.
I'm trying to give you positive. I wish I had more squeeze for you, buddy. But I'm about tapped out right now.
I feel you, man. I feel you. Follow him on Twitter at Manny_Navarro. Catch his work at The Athletic. And, of course, you can catch him every Tuesday on our program with, of course, the Caneswear Miami Hurricanes Report. Go visit Brett and all the great people at Caneswear at 2511 South University Drive in Davie. Manny, as always, Studley. We'll catch you next week, my friend. Thank you.
All right, brother. Good talking to you.
Take care. Got it. There you go, Manny Navarro. And, of course, the Wide Right podcast. You got to catch it also with Manny.
We've had more talent the last 2 weeks.
So Aaron
Central Michigan, Virginia Tech, more talent. You know, it's the same story.
So Aaron Haber gets a shirt. I mean, he wins a shirt, right? So he puts a picture out and he goes, "Thanks for the shirt." So he conveniently hides his address, but, you know, exposes mine. You know, it's like, yeah, okay. You're welcome for the shirt, dude. I mean, you know. It's like, really? Why not put the shirt out there and say, "Thanks for the shirt"? Why put the bag? I mean, you know, it's like.
I got a gift. I got a bag.
Yeah, you know, it's like you show the bag, not the shirt.
Nice shirt, by the way, there, buddy.
I mean,
I'm
come
talking
on.
about the one you're wearing.
Oh, yes. Zach Sabbath.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I wanted to send him back another text that says, "Hey, you show the bag but not the shirt." It's like, you know, that's the
I got a bag.
Yeah, let's show the bag that has Big O's address, okay, how much he paid postage to send you the shirt, okay, all of that. Let's just do that. Let's just but let me hide my address and let me not show the shirt, which is the best thing about the whole thing. I almost regret sending that guy the shirt, put it that way.
That was one of the gray shirts, right?
Yes.
The badass shirts.
Yes.
Yeah.
My man doesn't show off the shirt at all.
That doesn't make any sense.
It's the bag he shows off.
Hey, can I have about 1:40 of your time there, sir?
Let's do it.
Plus tax tag title and includes $8.99 dealer fee on approved credit. Offers end 10/31/19.
Get super savings on over 1,500 Toyotas during our 2020 Supra sales event at Toyota of Hollywood. Toyota of Hollywood has one of the largest selections of 2020 Supra launch editions in the country. Plus, we're selling 2019 Toyotas at up to 50% less than their original MSRP when new and used. 50% less. A pre-owned 2019 Camry LE, not $26,000, $18,775. A pre-owned 2019 Corolla LE, not $22,000, $13,775. Get super savings during our 2020 Supra sales event at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer, based on total retail sales of new Toyotas in the Southeast region for 2014 to 2018 per SET, on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
Want to sell your home in 72 hours at full market value? At 72sold.com, we developed a program designed to sell any home in America in 72 hours at full market value. Our home selling program is so effective it's been featured in Forbes. It's easy. It's fast. Sell your home at full market value in just 72 hours. Just put in your address and get a price for your home at 72sold.com. That's 72sold.com.
All righty, welcome aboard. Back after Manny Navarro doing his thing, which we always appreciate him doing his thing here on the program. It's a beautiful thing. Thank you to Manny. Thank you as always. Good stuff, man. Good insight there. Disturbing too at all levels, because you want light at the end of the tunnel is what you want with all of this. You know what I mean? That's what you want. And it's like, I don't know, you don't see it.
No, there is none, because like he said, all the teams we play from here on out, we have more talent. Well, that holds true for the last two games, and look what happened. Yeah. So that doesn't mean nothing. So more talent doesn't mean anything.
Like I said this past week, this is the game that put Manny Diaz on the hot seat in his first year. Not that he should be fired or anything like that, but you now have people that want you fired because of a game like that, because of games that have gone on now, because you look inept. And nobody can defend Manny Diaz, and that's the problem. You know, if you can stand there and make a case for Manny, then that would be great, because at least you have some kind of a discussion. At this point, there's no defense of Manny Diaz. And so that's what he's got to change now, the narrative that is created around him, that he doesn't know what he's doing and that his team looks completely unprepared, and now he is panicking in every way possible. 5 games into his tenure, he's got to make all kinds of changes. But see, here's the problem. If he was an experienced coach, a head coach for many years, then maybe he's run into these problems and he knows how to fix them. The problem is that he has many problems, and we don't know if he knows how to fix them, because right now he's so young and green that you have no idea. And the part of the team that's failing, which is his, and that's the defense. And that part is unacceptable. And that's on him. See, normally when you see head coaches take over teams, the part that they coached is usually the strongest part of the team. If it's a defensive-minded coach, the defense will be the strong suit. If it's an offensive-minded coach, then the offense will be the strong suit, like Andy Reid. You know, most of Andy Reid's teams, the offense will be the number one thing, because usually, you know, he's an offensive-minded guy, so that's where the strength will be. Obviously, people end up with balance and they end up with both sides. But more often than not, okay, the head coach, whatever side of the ball he came from, they're usually going to be pretty good on that side of that ball. Usually. And right now, they're not for Manny. And this past week, you gave up the game-winning drive. So whether the kid hit the extra point or not, it didn't matter. You could have stopped him, hand the ball to your offense, go win the game. And you didn't. Your offense choked like a dog. So that's where it leaves you for me, at least personally, a little disturbing on what's going on with Manny Diaz. And if the trend continues, next year he will have very little room for error for me. And you'll hear early in the season next year, if this stuff continues, you'll hear from me, he's done. He needs to go.
How much of this, man, can you put on the players? That they need to take a little pride.
You put
the
some,
fact that
you put
that
some.
Brevin Jordan, like you pointed out, is walking off the field thinking it's a great win against Central Michigan. That's so ridiculous.
Well, that's on the coaches for creating that kind of atmosphere.
The environment.
But when Manny's telling you that the veteran players aren't doing what they're supposed to do, that's on Manny. See, the difference is this is not a head coach that doesn't know the entire team. This is a head coach that knows the entire defense. And so, again, that should be a strong suit because the defense knows your scheme, knows exactly what you want to do. You're the coach, all of that. There's continuity there. On the offensive side, I get the struggles. I understand all of that, but I don't understand it on defense. So if they're not communicating and they're not doing what they're supposed to do, that's on you, Manny, not on anybody else. So that's where I can't give you a break. And you're not like a regular new head coach. You're a new head coach that only has to learn one side of the ball. You don't have to learn the defensive side because you should know it by like the back of your hand. And luckily for you, you actually have some players coming back that are experienced and can help you in leading that defense, and they're not. So that's a problem. And that falls on Manny Diaz. That's all I can tell you. Folks, please support the sponsors that support our program. Choice Mortgage Bank does an awesome job. Let me tell you something, folks. If you're looking to consolidate those bills, you've got some equity in your home. Right now, we can get you into a fixed mortgage rate under 3%. Call Michael Kodsey, 561-441-2730. They do it all. Wholesale, conventional, residential loans, condo loans, reverse mortgages, jumbo loans, FHA, VA loans. Call them right now for a free qualification and consultation. 561-441-2730. Rates and terms subject to change. Daily without notice. Equal housing lender and MLS 166254. It's Choice Mortgage Bank. Call Michael Kodsey, man. If you're buying a home or you want to refinance right now, call Michael, and trust me, you'll be in a much better place. So we appreciate Choice Mortgage Bank and their support here of the program. All right, we got a bunch of other things to talk about before we do. Let me give you one more message before we break here from one of our proud sponsors on the program. As want to hear from Craig's Inn, of course, home. And we are broadcasting live from Craig's Inn the final Friday of the month, folks. We'll be out there in another week. We'll be out at Toyota of Hollywood. But we thank, of course, Larry Schlossberg and all the great people at Craig's Inn, Acura of Pembroke Pines.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
It's a beautiful thing, and we thank you, of course, for supporting us here on the podcast. Now, we, in the first hour, which is already up for podcast, and a couple of segments that we put up already.
Yep, first hour and the 2 segments.
Yep, and you can go check it out already. They're up. You can search for the podcast links there. And I got to tell you, we talked about how stupid some of the members in the media are and some of their ideas. We were talking about the Barry Jackson asinine article.
Oh, come on, man.
Today.
They're not brilliant rocket scientists?
No, that article by Barry Jackson is just an absolute dumbass article on his part. Now, you know what's developed also with the Dolphins this week and the Hurricanes. And it's not a funny thing because you'll see kind of a smile on my face, but I'm kind of like smiling about this because of how people are going in different directions. You know what I mean? And really it really doesn't make sense to a certain extent. for some of these things, right? All right, first of all, what's the feeling right now in Dolphin Nation? Okay? This is the feeling that's going on right now for some of us. The Dolphins are playing a team that possibly could be worse than them. They just fired their head coach. They are going to have an interim head coach. Bill Callahan will be there, and I'm sure after the game he'll say that his team is the dumbest team in America, like he did with the Oakland Raiders years ago, for those of you that remember that. But anyway, so Callahan takes over. So you got Snyder, you got Bruce Allen saying that their culture is fantastic and all of that stuff. So they're in their delusional state over there in Washington like they've been for many, many years now. So Dolphin Nation now, there's a part of you that are kind of nervous that the Dolphins actually have a chance to win. There are some of us, like yours truly, like, oh, wait a minute, if they win, that's actually pretty cool because Washington has way more talent than Miami, and yet Miami somehow or another figures out a way, so in a year where a lot of people, like myself, thought they would go 0-16, didn't think this would be a good season to get even a victory, 5 weeks in, we've now changed the mindset, and people are thinking that the Dolphins might win this week, right? Flip side, we go to Coral Gables. Okay, here's a team going into some of these games that we all thought they should win, right? Vatek should have handled Central Michigan, did not, got spanked, all that stuff early on, and they haven't played well, right? The North Carolina, they've had bye weeks, and they come out of it unprepared. It's disturbing at every level. Now they're playing a ranked team in Virginia, and Canes fans are already expecting a loss, right? And so it's funny because now Miami is actually making progress, and people are focused on the wrong things here. They're focused on trying to win the game when they haven't even played it yet, when you're already thinking about winning when you should be just watching the game on a team that has the least amount of talent in the NFL. And then on the flip side, in Coral Gables, the season is coming to a screeching halt. The world is exploding because a lot of us, yours truly, thought that they were headed in the right direction with Manny Diaz, that he would get them back on track. He'd give them the edge. He'd give them that toughness that we were watching. The defense obviously developed the last couple of years under him, and it couldn't be further from the truth. They look more unorganized than ever. They don't look like they're going to win. There's no confidence right now in the Canes, and that's the program we thought would be on the rise with the Florida Panthers. Right?
That was going to salvage our fall.
Yeah.
The winner.
Kind of, okay.
Canes were going to give us some positive.
Right. And then the Panthers, too. And, the Heat, you expect them to be in the playoffs, but really, what else are they going to do with one All-Star there? I've seen this story before. You're a bottom tier playoff team, but at least you should be a playoff team for the Miami Heat. But it's really odd how now you've got a group that was, tanking, 0-16. Everything was torn up. Everything was destroyed. We're horrible. And yet now there's some kind of hope in Dolphin land.
It's not all doom and gloom and bottom of the barrel.
And no, but for some Dolphin fans, winning is doom and gloom because they're out of, and some writers are like, hey, have the owner go down there and bench players. Just stupid ass stuff. And now here at the Canes world, everything's changed. Instead of the hope that we were all, praying for and the positive direction that we were all hoping that it was going to go in, now we're thinking, oh, my Lord, is this the wrong hire?
We all thought it was a slam dunk because of how our defense.
5 weeks in.
How our defense was, we figured it would transcend to the whole team.
5 weeks in. You're thinking, oh, my Lord, is this the wrong hire? Some of you already want him fired. But those of us that are going, is this the right hire? That's normal. After what you're watching, you have to think that. So let me ask you something. Why isn't it that we can't do it on the other side for the Dolphins and say, hey, maybe this guy's actually a half-decent coach? And if he wins, how about giving him a little credit? Just a little bit. It's only one win. It might be the only win they have this season. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. They shouldn't win. Having said all of this, Miami, let me tell you something, has no business beating Washington or the Jets or anybody else on their roster, on their schedule.
Yeah, mono, X's and O's. We don't have talent.
They don't have the talent, man. They don't have They have no business winning it. And how is it that you have some kind of hope? Only because you watched them hang with the Chargers 2 weeks ago for a half, and you know the Chargers are better than the Redskins. You saw the defense actually play decent football into the third quarter against Dallas. And not that Dallas is any great shakes, because we're now learning that, right? That they can beat up on the sorry, but they can't beat the good teams, right?
The back-to-back losses, yeah.
Yeah, to quality.
Yes,
exactly. They've only beat garbage. They've only beat the dregs of the NFL. But it's really odd how the feelings change. And the sway of emotions for Canes. You know, we were so excited about Manny, and now Manny is taking away that excitement we had about him. And it's not our fault. It's not your fault. It's not my fault. It's not the media's fault. It's Manny's fault. Manny supposedly has everything he needs. He's the one that's supposed to put it all together. It's not working. Don't point to – I know Blake James hired him, but Blake James gave him everything he needed. What staff do you need? I'll help you get your staff. You want Dan Enos? We got you Dan Enos. You're the defensive guru. We'll get you the guy on the offense. Go for it. You got your indoor facility. You got everything. Go ahead. It's up to you now, Manny. Not getting it done. But on the flip side, the Dolphins have a little hope because of many things, not just Washington. It's because you've seen Miami play a little better the last 2 weeks. So now you think maybe it's the perfect storm. A team in turmoil and a team that is hungry. Because, see, it's really easy to say that the players quit when they didn't. It's really easy to say there's going to be a revolt when there isn't, and when they trade Laramie Tunsil, right? It's really easy to say that everybody wants to get traded. But how about saying, hey, all that was wrong. These guys are actually fighting, and they're trying every single down. They may not be good enough. They probably will run out of gas. That usually happens to a whole bunch of young guys that haven't played in an NFL season against NFL men who have NFL endurance, who have NFL strength and NFL experience, things that they do not possess, okay? That only comes with time in the weight room, in the classroom, and on the field. Something that a lot of these Dolphins don't have yet. I just find it kind of funny and weird and odd and twisted how one side, the sway of emotions have gone all the way to the other, and then on this side, the Dolphin side is kind of funny because those of us that actually care about the team, root for the team, really want what's best for the team. Because remember, the last 20 years, I wanted what's best for the team, and that was not hiring Joe Philbin. I wanted what was best for the team, which was not giving Ndamukong Suh the money. So for me, I want to see this coaching staff survive. I want them to thrive. They got to prove it to us, but they're kind of doing it right now. You know, they're kind of showing you something.
They'll big time do it if they win against Washington.
Right.
Because then it's like, we could conceivably beat the Jets. Obviously, Buffalo's a much improved team. Forget about that.
They're not beating Buffalo.
Right. But the Jets are definitely in play.
Well, I mean, unless Josh Allen comes in and it's Santa Claus and it's Christmas and he's handing turnovers like, you know, and I'm good.
But
then you got a shot.
That defense, though. Buffalo's
I know.
defense is every bit for real, man.
No, I know. I'm not saying they're not. I'm just saying, but if your offense isn't and the defense actually shows up that day and plays like it did against Dallas and hangs in there and you get a couple lucky turnovers, You just never know. Things could change, is what I'm saying.
This scenario?
They're not. My point is, they're not dominant enough on offense to say it's a loss.
I got you, right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That kid can turn
the
over the ball.
The fact that they only score mid-teens to 20.
Right.
You're obviously, if you get a couple plays, you're in the game.
Special teams play by the Dolphins. Right. They got Jakeem.
True.
It could, that's against those elite teams. I never gave them a shot.
You know what?
But against the Bills, yeah, there's a good chance they're going to lose those 2 games, but there's a slight chance that Josh Allen, turns it over.
I really want to see us win this game and see where these people are. I can't believe this. No, we're screwing up losing.
Well, the people that think they're tanking will already go, they'll keep the negative vibe going, and they'll say, well, see, they're so stupid that they won. And it's like, well, wait a minute. They're professionals. They're supposed to try to win. And if they win, it will then – see, here's the thing. All those people that are writing about tanking, and they're not tanking, if the Dolphins go out and win, will they then follow up with an article and say, I apologize. I kept saying that they're trying to tank, and they're not. They're clearly trying to win. I was wrong. They won't say it. They'll turn it around and say the Dolphins are stupid. They can't even tank the right way because they tore down their team to tank, and then they won. When they didn't tear down their team to tank, they actually tore down their team so they can turn the page and start anew. Is what they're trying to do. That's why I'm glad we're going to have Andrew Brandt on tomorrow at noon. Okay, former Packers executive. And I've had him on several times. One of the few people in the media, that's because he was in the business, that actually understand and comprehend what the Dolphins are doing. And he's actually very complimentary about it. So we'll have Andrew Brandt tomorrow at noon here on the program, which is an interview you definitely don't want to miss. Michelle Kaufman will also join us tomorrow for our Inter-Miami report, too, on the program. But it's just the sway of emotions for Canes fans and for Dolphins fans. Just listen, real, hardcore Dolphins fans, this is the show you listen to. We're the ones that are always going to keep you in reality, good or bad, okay? When it's bad, I'll tell you. Some of you won't be able to handle it. I get it. You'll unfollow me on Twitter, which is the funniest thing on Sundays. I remember over the last few years that I would pick on something that they would do, and you would see, like, the next day I'd see these Dolphin fans that would unfollow me, and it's like it's really funny that they get so personal about it. But I see a lot of them coming back, too, now following me because they think I'm turned positive or something about it. No, I'm doing the same thing I did before. I'm just calling it like I see it. And what I think they're doing now makes sense. For 20 years, I was proven right that everything they were doing did not make sense. So it's not a matter of, there's no agenda here. Now, I'm not saying that others in the media don't have an agenda.
The only agenda is being objective.
That's it. That's always been my agenda. And most of you, actually, to your credit, most of you appreciate it. It's those real emotional guys that they think their team's going to win 14 games every year. Like this year, they didn't think 14, but they really thought 8. By the way, my man followed up and finally put the shirt up on Twitter.
You know what? Well, he's listening and he took the cue.
Oh man,
it's funny. A good-looking shirt, man. There's absolutely no reason.
Why would you show off the bag?
Hey,
why would you show off the bag?
I just want it noted. All you guys that got shirts, I haven't even gotten a shirt. Okay,
that's true,
and that's actually a badass shirt.
That's true. I haven't. I'll give you one now. But I forgot about giving you a damn shirt. I forgot about that.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. I mean, here, look at this badass shirt.
I've had.
When am I going to get one?
I have a couple things on my mind all the time.
I understand.
I never stop. But listen, and it's my pleasure to send out the shirts. It's my pleasure to get the support that
The
you guys
response was immense.
are giving to us. Yeah, I mean, the text line, the accidentlawfirm.com text line was blowing up. Okay? Blowing up. I think I got more texts in 1 hour than I used to get at the last radio station I was at in like 3 weeks.
Fans are impressive, man. It's been impressive.
Yeah, it's impressive. There's no doubt about it, man. Impressive as hell. So thank you so much for all of that. The other thing that I definitely want to talk about, but before I do, you know what? Let's do this. Let's take a quick break. And then we'll reset here, and I guess it'll be like the third part of the show, hour number 3 or something. We'll start off.
You know,
here.
we're getting used to doing that. You know, you've been doing that now. We do an extra 20, 30.
We got the Heat tonight playing. We have not talked about this, and I got something that I want to get off my chest here. There's a couple of basketball notes. There's a football note that I want to make fun of. There's a couple things I want to get into, so we'll do that right after this short break.
Think less but see it grow like a ride, oh, not easily offended, not hard to let it go, from a mess to the masses. To get what we get.
All right, welcome back. Short break, and thank you for hanging in there with us. We always appreciate the immense support that you guys have been giving us, and it's been very motivating, man. Really has. And by the way, for any of you out there that want to join the podcast broadcast as a sponsor, you can reach out to me at Orlando at thebigoshow.com. You can reach out to me on Twitter at Big O Show or the accidentlawfirm.com text line at 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on our program and be a great sponsor of our show, since we have so many excellent sponsors here on our program and it's building every single day. Maybe we can do a broadcast at your business and bring a little exposure and bring the show over there, which is a beautiful thing. And so is this shirt. Nice job by you, Aaron Haber, getting the shirt on there. Not my address, which is a good thing. It's still funny as hell. Oh, it's a beautiful thing, man. You got to love it. What else do we have here on the pro? And that's the. Let me tell you something. And for those of you that do get the shirt, give us a little social media love. All right, We sent out 25 winners we picked. I wasn't going to pick just, 3 or 4. We gave out 25 shirts. All right? That's a lot. Not a lot of radio shows. No, wait a minute. I'm sorry. Let me phrase that again. There are no radio shows that are going to do what I just did. None. Okay? You got to go to the station to go pick it up. People in Washington won. People in Tennessee, in New York, California, all over South Florida, all over Florida. Well, Canada. We sent one to Canada.
Well, I'm not surprised. Remember, NorCal said there's four or five.
NorCal's getting one too.
There's 4, well, of course, but there's 4 or 5 big dolphin clubs up in Canada. Huge.
Yeah. Definitely. So that was the thing when we kept picking the names. It wasn't just Florida or South Florida. It was all over the country, and I know we have listeners all over the place, all over the world. Okay, I mean Tel Aviv has been in our top 10 in downloads, and Guam. I didn't know we were that big in Guam, by the way. But the country of Guam has downloaded also. There must be a lot of Miami fans over in Guam, man. It's awesome.
Remember, there's military bases all over the world. So
that's a good point. That's a good point. That's a great point right there. And thank you to all downloading and spreading the word about the podcast, which is really, really cool that you've been able to do that because we see it in the downloads. The numbers go up every single day, and we can't thank you enough for that. The Heat are taking on the Spurs tonight. James Johnson is not in. He's still fat by Heat definitions. Now, remember, being fat by Heat definitions is not like me that I'm fat. No, okay? We're talking about you're maybe 3% body fat, and that's where he's got to get down to 2% body fat. That's the thing there with James. Yeah, you got to get down to 2% body fat. That's what it is. Every player for the Heat has got to have a six-pack. And he showed up. He didn't have a six-pack. You got to have a six-pack. You got to have 2% body fat, all that stuff. I'm exaggerating, folks, okay? Don't take me serious. But
I was just going to say, man, because standard, really good is 10%. You're talking 3 and getting down to 2.
Yeah,
my God.
You're dehydrated the entire time, dude. Tonight they take on the Spurs. No James Johnson. He's out. He's eating some ice cream or something. No, I'm just having fun, okay? Because it's really ridiculous. Not for the Heat side of it. They did what they had to do. I'm just saying, when people think that he was overweight, they think that he looks like me, or, really overweight or anything. No, it's not. Okay.
See, you can't classify yourself as overweight anymore, man.
I can't?
No, sir.
You guys don't think I'm overweight?
Those days are over, man.
All right. Well, I still feel like a fat guy, but anyway. So they got the Spurs tonight. Did you guys see that? You see what they started to do in the NBA now, which I was wondering when they were going to do this and why they kept the charade going on. They now are listing everybody at their actual height. Like Barkley's 6'4", 6'5".
Barkley's not 6'8" anymore.
Yeah, he used to be listed 6'8", 6'9", and it's like, dude, he's not 6'8", 6'9". What, are you kidding me?
6'5" tops.
Yeah, 6'4", 6'5" is what he is. And that to me is the part that's kind of funny with all of this. So Ira Winderman had an article in the Sun Sentinel. Apparently, Goran, Haslam, and Davon Reed all were listed at their normal heights, 6'3", 6'6", 6'5". And you know what? I was thinking about this. I could see Haslam not lying. Like, hell no, man. You put my height. I'm kicking your ass if I was 5'2". Okay? Like, Haslam, took pride at 6'6". No, put 6'6". I'm good with that. I don't care if they know I'm 6'6". I'm going to beat you down at 6'6". That's the attitude. Haslam had the opposite attitude of everybody. Kind of like what's going on with the Dolphins, that you've got all this doom and gloom. And, I'm looking at this hey, guys, this is the positive way of building this team now. 2 or 3 years, we actually may have a really special team down the line. Meanwhile, everybody else is taking doom and gloom. But don't worry about it. In a couple of years, they'll praise the hell out of the Dolphins, and they'll say, wow, they were actually right when they did all of this. But whatever. So now they're putting the actual heights, okay? So Myers Leonard goes from 7'1" to 7 foot. Olenek goes from 7 foot to 6'11". Bam 6'10" to 6'9". Winslow 6'7" to 6'6". Butler 6'8" to 6'7". Hero was at 6'6". Even the rookie was already lying. 6'6" to 6'5". Derek Jones Jr. 6'7" to 6'6". Derek Jones Jr. doesn't look that tall on TV. I've been there live, so I've seen him, so I know. But if you watch him on TV, you would think he's like a 6'2", 6'3" guard, the way he flies around and all of that. 6'6" is pretty long and lanky for him. Now you see why he can do some of the things he can do, because he's long and he's 6'6". But I always thought that was one of the most ridiculous things that they did in basketball. You're a professional. See, in the NFL, you get measured the second you come out of college. You go to the East-West Shrine game, there's measuring. And they tell you exactly how you measure. They don't say just 6'1". They'll tell you 6'1" and 5/7. I mean, to a T, that's how they'll do it. How tall, how long is your hand? How long are your arms? They measure everything, dude. Okay? Well, not everything.
I was just going to say, you're getting a little too personal there.
Yeah, we're not. If they were at Vivid Video, then maybe they'll measure everything. But listen, they measure everything, and that's it. There's nowhere to hide anymore. The second you come out as a college player, everybody knows your height, right? Baker Mayfield, oh, he's really short. We find out how tall he really is. Russell Wilson, we find out how tall he is because they're going to measure it, bro. There ain't no, hey, let me wear some Elton John elevator shoes and or Barry Manilow elevator shoes and let me be taller. It's Barry Manilow, not Elton John, by the way. Barry Manilow's the one that wore the elevator shoes always on stage.
No, he wore the special wardrobe, remember? Breakfast Club.
Yeah, exactly.
Does Barry Manilow know you rate his wardrobe?
That's right. I think his shoes back in the day, they were like 8 inches tall. By the way, did you see Gene Simmons' new boots? He almost broke his neck falling, so they built some new ones. He goes, well, when your final world tour lasts 4 years, you got to make sure you have the right boots so you don't break your neck. And he showed like the new Dragon boots that he has. Those things they're so bad, man. They're awesome. They're so cool.
After all these years, he almost fell in his boots.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I guess one of them broke.
Oh,
so
okay.
That's what it was. So he had to have. So he had to have a new pair made.
New and improved.
I wonder how much they cost, those boots.
I can't imagine, man.
Anyway, so as I digress, back into music.
He doesn't care. He's making money, on the dollar sign and stuff like that.
They're making so much money. It's ridiculous how much money that they're making. I say they do a second world tour, and they do 20 different songs that they didn't do on this tour because they could easily do it and then appease all of us. That way I can see a little Flaming Youth or something like that. There's a lot of songs that they have not done that they could do. So, yeah, I would love that. Do 20 different songs.
Considering they're all about the money,
yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if they do come back with the amount of money that they have pocketed.
Nah, they won't. Not with
you think Paul is the issue, correct?
Yeah. But if they do extend it,
okay,
they're not going to do what I said.
Right. No, probably not.
They'll do the same songs, maybe change one or two or whatever, and that's it. Because remember, they would have to re-choreograph everything again.
Right.
So then, not that they can't do it. They could.
The fire, the explosions,
and
the
you and
blood.
I know, and any Kiss fan knows, they could easily play another 20 songs.
Oh, yeah.
Easily.
Christine, when was the last time we heard Christine 16? I mean, that's probably since that tour.
Creatures of the Night.
Wow, that dude.
They play I Love It Loud, but they don't play Creatures of the Night.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. How about A World Without Heroes with Gene Simmons? I've never heard that live, and I've seen them a ton. I've seen Kiss at least 20 times.
I was going to say, you got to be in the 20s. Yeah.
Yeah, easily 20 times. never heard my favorite song, second favorite, Black Diamond's my favorite, which they do in every concert, and then A World Without Heroes is my second favorite. They didn't do that, you know? So those are the things that, there's so many Kiss songs that they could do. So there you go. I go from boots, from Heat Height to Manilow boots to then jean boots to then Kiss music and tour. It's a beautiful thing.
To go back full circle, who decreed this real true height, real true measurements? Is that just something the Heat's doing, or is that an NBA thing?
No, it's an NBA. No. It's the NBA said,
Wow.
no, enough is enough already with the
Really?
lies. Yes.
So what are they going to do with these kids coming out of college? Obviously, they're going to suddenly shrink.
Well, no, right. Well, what?
You know?
Well, when you have your combine,
This is it.
they shrink in the NFL too, dude.
Yeah, okay.
In college, they don't say the real measurements there. It's when you get to the NFL, it's like, whoa, wait a minute. It listed you 6'4", you're 6'1.25". What's going on here? You know, it's like that happens in the NFL all the time.
Reality's a bitch.
Yeah, always. Baker wasn't listed at the right height. And then now he wasn't as short as everybody thought, just like Kyler Murray this past year.
Okay.
Everybody thought he was going to be like 5'9". I think he was like closer to 5'11", 5'10.5", 5'10.75" or something. Because, again, they don't do 5'10" or 5'11". No. If you're a centimeter or two over the 5'10" or 11, they'll count those centimeters and name it.
Right.
This is what you are to a T in the NFL. They don't BS with that. And I'm glad the NBA is doing that.
Have they gone to 8s?
It's ridiculous.
Like gotten off a court, like did they give them 5/8 instead of a half?
I don't know. Who knows? Who knows?
Give me that extra eighth, man. I'm 5/8. I'm not a half.
Give it to me. So we had, the Rays beat the Astros yesterday. Houston leading 2-1. Had the Cards beating the Braves, tied at 2. Had the Nationals routing the Dodgers 6-1. That one's tied at 2. That's a brutal series. And I'm not going to talk a lot of baseball. But the worst part about the Dodger-National series is whoever loses walks away a choker. Because they are the two biggest underachievers in the last decade in baseball. Okay? I don't think that's really up for argument. I think the Nationals and the Dodgers by far are the two teams that have spent the most money, have the most talent, and have underachieved. So that's the sad part about losing that game. Yankees, oh my Lord, the Twins are their bitch. Wow. 5-1, swept. What is that, 13 in a row? You're a Yankees fan. Is it 13 in a row? I forgot, I lost the count.
That would be 13 in a row.
Wow. I mean, the face that the Minnesota Twins fans had in the stands, I felt bad for him. I really did. Because
it's their first playoff game, by the way, since 2010. And
but they must feel like this is like, did it have to be these guys? Couldn't we just play somebody else? We won 100 games. What, 103,
they're
101?
actually they won 101.
101, right?
And they are the first 100 and plus winning team to get swept out of a playoff series, by the way.
But they got swept by another 100-win team that's loaded.
Yep.
So it's, I don't find that as a real shame or anything like that. I feel bad for them because you go through a whole 162-game season. Your team has a hell of a year. It hits the most home runs in the league, and you get bounced in 3 straight games. That sucks, dude. You couldn't even make it a series.
I kind of felt bad for him myself.
Yeah, because you know that the Twins aren't going to have.
Oh, they got a short shelf life,
Because they don't keep everybody. They can't spend.
Nope.
It's not like the Dodgers that we just talked about, that they have the luxury of
They are the highest payroll in baseball.
They spend more than you guys.
Yes. We're not even the top.
No.
The Yankees are in
the
third,
Yankees,
fourth, fifth from the top.
No, the Yankees are only there because of their front office, and Cashman has been just one of the best.
Yeah, the turnover.
Not even close.
The young guys.
Not even close.
With the 30 injuries we had this year, the fact that we won 100 games, I'm like unbelievable.
Yeah, no. It's all the front office, Cashman, the scouting staff. The minors are loaded. Now they, don't spend. They they spend, but they don't spend like they used to spend.
We will not hit the luxury tax. We are about getting there and being right at that mark and not going over. We're not
really hard. It's really hard when you got to compete with the new Yankees, the Astros.
Yeah. Well, I mean, those
they are the ghost of Steinbrenner is in that building because they don't care. They're doing whatever it takes. Astros and Rays tonight, by the way, 7:07. Verlander is on the mound, and he's powered by Moss. You know how we're powered by 300Bs? Same thing. He's powered by Moss. It's all her.
Well, they're talking about the fact that if
you got that in bed waiting for you every day, that's why you're pitching shutouts every other day.
If somehow, some way, Tampa wins this game tonight, there's Verlander used, then they go to Cole.
Yeah.
Win, lose, or draw, the Yankees don't see either one of those guys until Game 3.
Yeah.
So it totally changes the perspective of that 7-game series.
True. So we'll see what happens there. That's a little baseball for you. We got the Panthers back in action tonight. They host the Hurricanes at the BB&T Center. What else do we have here? Zion Williamson. That was nice yesterday. Nice. It's going to be fun to watch the Pelicans. Okay. We talked a little bit about the Heat in action tonight. Last night I saw the highlights. I didn't really watch the game. But that team, Brandon Ingram, Zion, Lonzo spreading the ball out, J.J. Redick, the Nicolo Melli kid, the rookie played well. They got Drew Holiday on that team. The Pelicans aren't going to be a bad team. They're actually going to be a half-decent team. I don't know if they get to the playoffs. They probably will be just on the outside looking in because they're probably somewhere in the 30s in the wins because they're kind of young, so I don't expect them to get into the playoffs. But I will say this. I think they're going to be fun to watch because they got young guys that can run. They've got a couple of point guards because Drew Holiday's a good player, and obviously Lonzo can spread the ball. Hell, he was hitting the threes yesterday. He hit 3 different three-pointers yesterday in that game. That's going to be an interesting team to watch right there, the Pelicans in New Orleans. And it's a little bit like the Browns, okay? And Dolphin fans, don't kill me for this, okay? There's a part of me that roots for the Browns. And follow me on this. Look, I know my Dolphins have no shot, right? So I know they're not going anywhere. And not that I'm rooting for the Browns and I'm a fan, but their fan base has been through hell. And they've lost their team, and then they got it back, and since they got it back, it's been terrible. And because I couldn't relate to this as when I was young, because I had Shula and it was winning. But the last 20 years has just brought me down to this reality that I can relate to the Bengals, and I can relate to the Arizona Cardinals, and I can definitely relate to the Browns and any of the other bad teams that are in the NFL, NBA, or any of those teams. Now that I can relate to them, I feel bad for them. And since I know my Dolphins have no shot this year, they're not going to the playoffs or anything, I would like to see, even though the Browns have a bunch of big mouths, you know what I mean? And it's not like I'm the biggest Landry fan because I think he's a jerk. But and Odell.
So then what do you think about Odell Beckham?
No, Odell's.
If you think Landry's a jerk, what do you think of OBJ?
Odell, forget it. He's even bigger jerk. And I think Mayfield has a lot of jerk in him too, even though I do like his commercials. And I kind of like
the home thing? Yeah, that's actually been kind of cool.
Yeah, his commercials have been all right.
Putting out the home mat there.
And he's got some moxie. But since my Dolphins aren't doing anything, I don't mind if one of these suffering fan bases has some success. Not the Patriots. I don't need to see the Patriots win again. But my Lord, man, if the Browns happen to come out of nowhere and have a nice season, good for them, man. Those poor fans have suffered forever.
And they're really good fans,
yeah, man. It's like the Raptors last year.
The way they fought Modell to keep the name. I mean, their pride. Their pride. That's our Browns.
Yeah. I have no problem. The Raptors. I have no dog in the race. I don't care. Or a horse in the race, that is. I was happy for the Raptors fans. I was pulling for them. come on, you and I know they probably will never see another championship again. It'll be really tough for them to see another one, even though they have Masai Ujiri, who's one of the best GMs in the business. But I was happy for that fan base because they had gone through a lot of heartache. You know, they've had their moments, they've had their teams, but never been able to get over the top. They had their Vince Carter era and all that, and it just didn't work out. Bosch was there for a short amount of time. Nothing ever worked out. Tracy McGrady, whatever. So I was happy for them. So because of my experiences with the Dolphins the last 20 years, I kind of feel for those teams. And as long as it's not getting in the way, like if my Dolphins were really good this year, screw the Browns, okay? Just sorry. I'm sorry if you're a Browns fan and if you're listening out there, but hey, listen, first and foremost is my Dolphins.
Yeah,
so,
Brian just like, what did O just say?
Yeah. No. You know, but obviously if you're getting in the way of my Dolphins, no, that's unacceptable. But I know my Dolphins have no shot at anything, so I don't mind if a fan base with a bad team has a little love and a little success. I think that's actually a cool thing, man. So I just wanted to say that.
I got to be honest, watching that game last night, because obviously I had the kicker and the defense involved, San Fran, and I was going up against three guys, had a 50-point edge. But Baker, Landry, and Kittle, the tight end.
Kittle did a nice job.
And obviously being involved, I was in the game kind of half-assed watching the Yankees game. And I cannot believe how easily San Francisco manhandled Cleveland. I mean, just literally, they never got a chance to breathe.
San Fran's pretty damn good, bro.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
Yeah, they are.
Well, that's what we're learning is that San Fran is actually a good team.
They got a great running game.
Yes.
Garoppolo is more than serviceable. He's a solid quarterback.
Yeah,
solid.
You can actually you can win with Garoppolo big time. You got no, as long as you got a team. I'm not telling you he's going to carry you.
Right.
You know, right. He's not Russell Wilson.
But he's going to do his job.
Not Russell Wilson, but he's good, man.
Yep.
He's accurate.
And then you can win throw that defense. And
the running game.
They've got, like I said, they're running, and they got a plethora of backs. They didn't just got one, they got three of them.
200 and what? I wrote it down somewhere. They rushed for 275 yards yesterday. Breida rushed for 114. Coleman rushed for 97. And then the Mostart kid, I forgot how much, but he had like another 30 or 40 yards, if I remember correctly. I don't have the box score in front of me. I wrote the other two, but
and Cleveland is supposed to have a good defense.
Yeah, no, Cleveland has talent, bro. Cleveland has talent.
Okay,
they don't
You're
lack.
Right.
They don't
talent,
lack
as far as playing a team.
They don't lack
concept.
talent. They
right.
should be. They should be. But this is the question about Freddie Kitchens. Can he handle a young team? Can he handle the hotheads? All of that, because eventually Odell Beckham's not going to keep his mouth shut about all of that. But anyway, we talked a little bit about that in the first segment in the first hour of the program. We got to thank Manny Navarro for joining us here on the show. Bill, as always, great stuff. Remember, you can reach out to us anytime on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, and that's at 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105. Reach out to us there. Of course, on Twitter at Big O Show. Spread the word. Tell your friends, tell your family members. Those of you that maybe were searching for us on radio, spread the word. Tell them that we're here and we're broadcasting every single day.
We hear that a lot whenever we see people, like the guy from Big Cheese yesterday. Where were Miller? We've been looking for you on the radio.
And here we are. Here we are every day giving you hardcore sports that you're not going to get anywhere else, pretty much. An opinion that you're not going to get anywhere. Unbiased, no politics, no nothing. So download us. We appreciate your support in an immense way. We'll see you tomorrow once again here on The Big O Show. Have a great one.